This is Bassmaster Elite Series Pro Kurt Dove, and I'm going to talk to you real quick today about tungsten and lead. There's a lot of chatter obviously about there. Everybody knows about tungsten weights these days. You know, they've been around for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years now. But there's an often misconception that it's not worth the cost, especially in the drop shot market. And I got to tell you, this year I have been using Reins Tungsten exclusively. Just a little tungsten weight right there. And it has done so much for me in so many different ways. Let me explain a couple of those for you. The first thing that I've really noticed about the tungsten weight is how much sensitivity I have in my line. You talk about sensitivity and you can feel the bottom, which is another important concept that I'll get to later. But really what it's given me is sensitivity in my line. So what I can do with that is detect much more subtle strikes, and I'll know exactly where my line is. My connection to my line is so sweeter and so much more, in tune from my rod to my line to myself that, that tungsten weight's given me a huge advantage in that regard. The second way it's given me an advantage is what I alluded to earlier, and that's noticing what the bottom is feeling like. So if you're on a rocky bottom or a mucky bottom, we're up here in Pennsylvania right now, and in between a couple of events from New York to Michigan, and those are key areas, with those smallmouths. So being able to detect those bottoms and being able to know when you're in the juice so that you can let that bait just simmer a little bit more for those fish to come over and feed on it, really critical part of the tungsten tungsten dynamic. So people that haven't been around tungsten a whole lot, just let me give you an instance. That's a tungsten weight, 3/8 ounce, a Reins Tungsten with a lead weight. You can see that's a huge difference in size, and obviously the density is going to give you that sensitivity. Reins also makes another little cylindrical shaped bait. So that's a 3/8 ounce lead cylindrical with the 3/8 ounce Reins Tungsten cylindrical weight. So, the difference between the cylindrical and the bell really is cover. When I'm fishing rock and that kind of thing, I really like the bell sinker. If I'm getting into some grass, then I really like the cylindrical weight. So those are the two keys. And usually I'm using either 3/8 or here's the 1/4 ounce model. So that's a 1/4 ounce lead with a 1/4 ounce Reins Tungsten. You see just a huge difference right there. And then of course the bell shape with the tungsten versus the lead. Big difference there as well. So make sure you check out these Reins Tungsten weights, particularly the drop shot weights. They make all assortments of weights, from the big flipping weights all the way up to 2.5 ounce down to the small, really intricate little tungsten weights. But make sure you check out that Reins Tungsten. It's going to make you a better angler.